Yeah, this is Low Whisper, and this is Fear the Night. I wanted to make a real quick video and show you my current base, the largest base I have. Also, it's kind of a test bed to test all the different barriers you can create and craft in the game to keep the zombies out. And if you're over on a regular PvP server, sometime to keep other uh, players out also. So it's going to give you a little nickel to it. Now, just like in real life, anytime you do any kind of security, you want it to be in layers. I actually started on the inside here, just putting some spiked around the generator, and as the zombies attack every night or even sometimes in the day, you get a feel for what they're getting through, what they're not getting through. So you kind of start around the generator area. First thing I did was put metal doors up, put a couple of metal gates up there on the porch, put some metal spikes. Since I had such a surplus in metal, I did a lot with metal. Uh, Same thing on the outside. Just so you know, too, in case you weren't aware, these metal gates, if you hold down the E button for the other options, uh, you can lock or unlock each individual gate piece. You can set a password if you want to. Also, you can destroy it, open it up, or you can also do that just using the E. So these metal gates really come in handy. They're very durable. They got 6,000 hit points before they fail. Um, so I built the gate around the outside. Then they started attacking the gates a lot. So um, the trouble with when you have a barrier like the metal gates, uh, the sandbags, the big sand burns, zombies will just stand there and hit it until you kill them. So the one good thing about like the metal spikes is the zombies are going to do some damage, but the spikes are also going to do damage onto the zombies. So this was kind of a learning curve, and like I said, kind of a test base to test all the different barriers, structures. Sometimes doing a perimeter with sandbags or whatnot, uh, the game is a little glitchy sometimes where you can place them. Uh, so sometimes you have to kind of move them around and figure out where the game is going to allow you to put them, and also uh, in the most beneficial place for defense of your base. Also, I just now a few hours ago and put the sandbags around. Basically, not the whole property, but basically to keep the zombies away from the metal gates and also the spikes there on the other side. So what I did was I wrapped it around, came off the house there. Also, uh, yeah, they'll stand here and hit the sandbags, but they have 4,000 hit points, so it's going to take them a good while to get through one of those. Now, if they were kind of mobbed for whatever reason, of course they would get through that faster, but uh, that's one more layer of defense to keep the zombies away from your generator, because if you lose your generator, you lose your base. So you definitely want to keep that. I put the metal gate around there originally to keep them. They were always beating on that watchtower, so I was having to constantly repair it. And that's another reason to put layers, because you're going to have to keep repairing them. So I kind of like how everything is right now. I'll give you a tour inside. Since I had so much metal, I did invest in some safes. For instance, this one I just strictly pretty much use for the resin. Odds and ends you can store in there. Got a recycle bench, the armor bench, the weapon bench. This big sucker, the machine tool, which is basically an upgraded workbench. You have your construction bench. Yet another safe. This one I keep spare weapons, some ARs and lots of melee weapons, some ballistic vests. I've got a couple extra riot helmets which have a good armor class on them, 180. This is pretty much, I keep the chemicals in, and this is just a ton of, as you can see, aluminum. Down the bottom I do have some recycled metal and some plastic there also. Yet another safe. Tons and tons of aluminum. You see I'm running kind of low on my metal there, so at some point I'm going to have to. Now, one of the reasons I did, and I'll take you over here and show you what it takes to actually build one of these safes. It takes a lot of components, but there's a reason I did that was, as you can see, it takes a lot of aluminum alloy, gears, mechanical parts, PCBs. But the good thing about these is they'll hold 15,000 pounds worth of stuff in here. And they have a lot of slots, as you can see. So that was the primary reason by going to strictly safes. Now, of course, I didn't have all these safes in the beginning. I just had the little wooden chests, and I had one big wooden cabinet. But I was collecting so much stuff, you know, there's just not enough room in those. Because if you do this cabinet, there's really not that much space in there, and it doesn't hold a lot of weight. Even if you go to the big storage room, which I had one of those also, you're still kind of limited to weight. So that's why I did add all the safes in here, and make sure, just for security, if you like, you can pin lock all your doors, you can pin lock your safes, things like that. Keep it protected. Very important if you want to hold on to your stuff. Same thing with your metal gates. If you don't want other players running around, goofing around around your base. Some are destructive, and some will stand there and taunt zombies to try to destroy your base or parts of it. And because if they can get the zombies to attack whatever defenses you have, then the zombies will get at your generator, then they can take over your base. So that's always a factor too. So in this particular case, I'm on a PvE server just against the environment. But if you're on a PvP server, then it's even more important. If you see, this big watchtower has 10,000 hit points basically before it fails. But so far, I'm happy with the progress here and layers of security. And like I said, this was a nice test base just to test all the different technologies, so to speak, that we have available in game to keep the zombies out, keep the players out in some cases. So, well, this is Low Whispered. I hope you enjoyed the little nickel tour, and until next time.